oh, this isn't really the type of video I usually make, but I don't know. Let's do it. Yeah, I haven't made content about Solarballs in quite some time on this channel, so this is kind of out of the blue, but I've really wanted to talk about this for a while. I personally don't see many videos criticizing or ranting about Solarballs, and the ones I do see never go into full depth. And it confuses me how almost nobody ever talks about the show, considering they have over 1 million subscribers. So even though I'm a small YouTuber, this video probably won't do very good. I did make content about the show, so like, I don't know, might as well. Also, sorry if I sound really stuffy. I have a cold, but I didn't really want to wait to make this script because this video has been in the works for several months. So, we don't talk about that. Also, actually, one disclaimer I really kind of want to put here before I start the video. A lot of people seem to think that I'm a girl for some reason. Guys, please, I'm not a girl, I'm a guy! The main girl characters of Solarballs, based on their impact in certain arcs, at least, I don't know, according to me, are Europa, Callisto, Thea, Titania, and Sharon. Some of these characters have some sort of trope added onto them, or have, or are in some sort of love plot, which has happened to literally all of these characters. Amazing! Starting with Thea, she is depicted as a manic pixie dream girl, or MPDG, which is a trope in fiction where by definition the character in question is usually depicted as a young woman with an eccentric personality quirk, or in simple terms quirky, and serves as a love interest for the male protagonist, which in this arc is obviously Proto. The MPDG makes the male protag see the bright side of life, they fall in love, and yada yada. The quirkiness depicted in MPDGs can obviously come from Thea's dream of creating life in the universe, which for basically all of the arc, she is the only one who believes in this other than Venus and later on Proto, which leads to her making Proto see that there's more to the universe than emo, dark space, I don't know, the way he says it just sounds really stupid. The problem with the entire arc makes it feel like Thea's character is just, oh, I can fix him, I swear! Not to mention how after getting closer with him, Thea decides to become his moon so he can get life. Another thing with Proto x Thea is that we are supposed to look at this relationship and say, oh, this is really cute. But in reality, it's kind of toxic since both sides end up abandoning their friends just so they can be all lovey-dovey or whatever. Next we have Europa, who's depicted as a typical high school mean girl with her more aggressive attitude and especially the Moon Revolution. I showed in that arc with her being power-hungry, manipulative, and popular. This is an issue because her motives are never really elaborated on or explored. She never got enough focus on her character and intentions and redemption compared to Ganymede, her boyfriend, despite working alongside him in the Planet X arc where she was basically ignored as a character, despite them basically serving the same role. Like, I'm not even joking, all we really get is that the small moons look up to her. Hooray! Recently, Europa has drifted away from the mean girl trope, but she still never really got her motivations elaborated on. Then we have Titania, who is basically portrayed as an independent woman with the whole girl boss attitude. Her personality also tends to change, like, basically every arc. Like in Moonrev, she's the trope I said earlier, but the moment we get into Moon Club, she ends up basically becoming this ooh-woo softy flower queen of sorts and acts all soft, especially around Titan. I won't be mentioning the whole moons becoming planets motive here though, because the reason behind those actions are understandable, at least in my opinion. Anyway, back to Titan, it also just never really made sense to ship them based off of the stuff we got. In Moonrev, it wasn't that bad, despite them basically having no chemistry, but like whatever, I guess. But in Moonrev, it just felt incredibly forced. Like, to be fair, that whole arc was kind of a train wreck, but this was one of the main things that made it feel that way, at least for me. And arcs like those are always huge nothing burgers anyway. I don't know. As of the time I'm writing this, they have drifted away from Titan x Titania for a while now, and I'm not sure if there's ever going to be a comeback of the ship. But I wouldn't really be surprised because, like, I don't know, it's Solarballs. Sharon is just kind of nice, I guess. Honestly, we don't know anything about her, bro. I couldn't even write a paragraph about her personality. Like, not even the wiki has written much about her. Callisto, I don't really have many issues with her. I just personally feel like she's kind of bland. I also looked at her wiki, and while it looks like there's a lot of information, I highlighted the parts that are actually about her personality, and that makes it substantially a lot less. And I guess it's not that bad compared to Sharon's, but it feels like I only learned this information about her through the wiki. But I don't know, I didn't rewatch old SV episodes and I'm not really planning on doing that. So if any of you think that I'm wrong, then feel free to tell me in the comments. Criticism is appreciated. The problem here isn't that these characters have tropes belonging to them, It's that these characters never really go past that trope. They don't really become individual characters. This is mainly because we don't get enough screen time with the female characters for us to really see them advance past their trope. Titania has been able to do that as of recent, at least in my opinion, but still, we don't see a lot of screen time with her. It only really happened recently because of the Moons Becoming Planets arc. Everyone else hasn't really had a lot of screen time, therefore we don't really see them advance past what they're stereotyped as. Okay, Earth. Arguably one of, if not the angstiest character in Solarballs. Like, my boy got what feels like 2,763 arcs made about him being depressed. My main problem with Earth angst isn't the amount of it, even though it would be nice to give my bro a break for once, like holy shit. It's more about how every other character treats him, which leads us to the Thea arc. In the beginning of the arc, aka Jupiter is back, Earth got absolutely shat on by his friends, and his own moon. By the way, same people who basically promised Earth that they would always be there for him, and are seen as caring best friends in the writing. Literally the only person who didn't treat him like shit was Venus, aka the hot-headed mean character. Starting with Luna, I think this is arguably the second to worst mischaracterization. The only reason why Luna isn't first here is because of a specific line that, trust me, I will get back to. Luna has always been seen caring for Earth and wanting him to be safe and happy. In fact, Luna had to convince Mercury and Earth alone to actually help Earth, and also saved him from a suicide attempt. But what do they do when Jupiter is back? Fucking lets Earth suffer just so they can play solar cards. I can't even make this up. Like, okay, you're telling me the same person who constantly stuck up and went through their planet's bullshit and continued to care for him, and not to mention almost instantly forgave him, ditching the clearly delusional planet that he cares so much about over a card game? Words can genuinely not explain how stupid this is. I get that Luna has been dying to play with the Rockies for basically the entire show, but there's no fucking way they would choose solar cards over someone so close and dear to them. Not to mention he yells at him for fucking up the game because he was in a bad mental state. I can't do this anymore. Okay, next up, Mars, I guess. I do understand why Mars wouldn't want to talk to Jupiter, since the whole reason he got exiled and recently returned was because of the truth getting out about Planet X and the Grand Attack. So obviously things would be rocky, no pun intended, especially since Earth was like, hey, bro, you're good with Jupiter, right? You two are close, right? But I'm sorry, just look at him, dude. It genuinely bugs me so much how the rocky planets did not notice anything wrong about Earth. Like, best friends know each other. It doesn't make any sense. I'll take this time to bring up really quickly that Mars made several comments towards Earth outside of the present day part of the Thea arc that I don't really see people bring up and makes him look like a bad friend. He pushed Earth to talk about terraforming, which he was clearly uncomfortable about, and if I recall correctly, he did mention the dinosaurs, which we know is a topic Earth doesn't like, but if I'm wrong about that, you can tell me in the comments, I might be wrong. And I'd like to add that Mars 100% should have known that Thea's name being brought up would have made Earth crash his shit, because it literally happened like 5 minutes after Bruv was born. He literally crashed his shit, he ran off, like he looked panicked, like what do you mean this guy doesn't know shit? Literally nobody ever talks about Thea again after that. How does he not know? My goat Pluto was the one to lore dump about this and get the audience speculating instead of Earth's best friend. Which, keep in mind, Pluto was a little kid when this all went down. And from what I personally remember, he has never directly interacted with Earth at the time of this video being uploaded. Next up, this motherfucker, Mercury. Arguably the most done dirty of the entire group over one line.
You should go back to your orbit, Earth. Let's not pull this heading to the sun stunt again, shall we?
This line absolutely changed people's perspectives on shit Curie over here. Like, this is the kind of thing you tell to someone that could cause them to feel guilty or harbor self-hatred in some form. If this new Mercury was the one dealing with Earth during EA, he might as well have shoved Earth into the sun himself. Calling it a stunt? I'm sorry, what? No person does this. Same guy who became a therapist in Earth's redemption arc and helped him realize everyone is unique and that the solar system doesn't revolve around him, and it was also one of the two people who stopped him from committing suicide. Literally, the guy has seen Earth at his worst, yet he says this. In the solar system trials arc, Mercury explains to everyone how Earth has paid the price for his actions and even tries to tell him he doesn't need to reveal that he tried to attempt if he doesn't want to, which makes this even more confusing. In the solar system is empty arc, the writers basically tried to give Mercury the benefit of the doubt by giving Venus and Mercury a conversation how, when Venus is around, Mercury gets really sad and stuff. Which just feels like a shitty excuse for the sun comment. Like, dog, Venus wasn't even there, what are you on about? This is a bit of a side tangent from JIB, but Mercury and Venus having this conflict is already stupid in itself. Throughout several arcs, the current idea of their relationship prior to TSSIE was that they were frenemies, as Mercury has been shown to not really care what Venus says about him anymore and has basically just grown to live with it. So randomly coming back to square one makes absolutely zero sense. I will say Mars and Luna acknowledge their faults as they are going to search for Earth, but Saturn is like, it's okay guys, you were also going through some stuff, which can only really be applied to Mars, because the only reason Luna crashed out was fucking solar cards, but okay bro. Then we get to the past, aka the actual Thea arc, and I'll get to my issues with that arc later. When we finally get back to the present, Earth isn't even mad at the Rockies, but why did none of the Rockies at least apologize? Like, not even the ones who tried to take accountability apologize. Uranus apologized for indirectly causing this whole thing. Like, chat, are we so for real? I will take this time to quickly mention that I don't like how Uranus' side tangent of leaving the solar system to go find Planet X was squished into the arc. Supposed to be centered about Earth and later Thea and Proto, but like, whatever. Solarballs kind of has this thing where they squish side plots into big arcs too much, which I will mention later. It's just really annoying because it always happens in the arcs that people care more about. Like, it just makes it hard to keep up. Okay, back to the Rockies. This brings up a whole other thing I don't like. How the Rockies and Luna never actually get held accountable. Venus doesn't count because my guy literally didn't do shit, which is ironic because as I said before, he's supposed to be the hot-headed jerk. I know damn well since Solarballs is Solarballs, we won't see any conversation between the Rockies and Luna at all about JIB. We already kind of get this narrative due to Mars and Venus never even talking to Earth about his attempt since they found out about it in the solar system trials, which is crazy because they were heavily involved in the situation. There's an episode of Solarballs where the Rockies air out their issues and become good chums again. Honestly, it's outdated now. We need a part 2 because holy shit, there's a whole new can of worms they need to address with one another. Also, something really quickly I want to mention is that in this arc, Luna never attended the Moon Club meeting and they just didn't care. Like, that makes no sense, but okay, pop off queen. Before I end this part, I do want to go back to Earth for a second. The problem with Earth angst is that it becomes a plot point in almost every arc, whether it's about him or not. The thing is, Earth has great potential for angst. For example, the Chicxulub impact, or just any other mass extinction in general. Like, imagine how the Permian extinction felt for bro, with around 90 to 96% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial species being completely wiped out. But when we finally got the Thea arc, it was something. But don't get me wrong, we've had a good angst arc before. Earth Alone was easily the arc that made Earth my all-time favorite to this day, and I love this arc. But there is one problem with Earth Alone. Well, technically it's not a problem with the arc itself, but it's a result of it. For a while after EA, Earth seemed to stay somewhat arrogant, mostly in a joking way. But I say seemed to because frankly we never got any real time with the new Earth to know that much. Well, technically we do, but that's only recently, and now he's a fucking doormat. Honestly, I miss the old Earth over the new Earth. Like, in my opinion, what I would have done was keep his old personality, but instead not make him an asshole and go against his redemption. Maybe he could be a little less arrogant, but removing it completely feels wrong. Old Earth was funny, entertaining, and had more flavor. And I'm not trying to say doormat characters are bad, but it was just the weirdest turn in Earth's personality Solarballs could have taken. I get that Earth has a lot of episodes and arcs centered around him, and frankly, Solarballs shoves Earth angst in our face way too often. But at least for me, I have trouble describing his personality. Like, he cares about the people he loves. He's sometimes a bit snarky. I don't know, jokingly arrogant, but that got thrown out of the window for him being a doormat. But that's all I can really say about him. Maybe in the future we'll get episodes where we can actually see Earth's personality in depth, but at the moment, this is kind of all we got. Let's start off with the Proto and Earth debate. This debate is more of a fandom thing, but trust me, I have issues with the way the show handled this too. But let's start off with the actual fandom debate. This debate was absolutely fucking wild, bro. Both sides did bad things, but me personally, most of my experiences were in the confines of the Solarballs Discord, which isn't the best place either. It genuinely felt like being in a fucking civil war when it came to the debate, bro, and not just in the Discord. I saw people in the Discord make comments on the Proto-Earth theory that just rubbed me the wrong way. I once got flamed by somebody in the theories channel because I believed Proto-Earth, which I won't show any screenshots for this one because me and that person are technically on good terms. Just all I can say is trust my word because I do know people that could 100% back me up, so yeah. Most of the Discord was against P equals E believers, at least from my experience, and since I was a P equals E believer, I apologize if I sound biased, but I'm just going to say what my experiences were and others I knew were. I'm trying my best to not be biased, but keep in mind I'm only talking about what I saw in the Discord. But I've also heard some bad stories about P equals E believers being rude to P does not equal E believers, and frankly, people did defend P equals E believers too. Oh my god, if I say this phrase one more time. So this wasn't all bad. But anyway, what actually happened in the show? Yeah, Proto ended up being a different character, and they just made him Earth's father. Oh, okay. And like, it's not even this that I'm mad about, it's just, Now, the interpretation of whether Proto-Earth is the same planet as Earth is technically still up for debate, since the collision was presumed to be really bad, but like, I don't know, it's still they still technically kind of are. Like, don't get me wrong, I completely understand why people would say they aren't, but what I'm trying to get across is that the collision didn't completely destroy the Earth entirely. And frankly, Thea was only about the size of Mars, which is about half the Earth's size. Realistically, Earth would have basically just swallowed Thea, which is why parts of Thea have been shown in the Earth's core, at least that's what it's presumed to be. But yeah, I'm not gonna really get into space politics because I'm not trying to deep dive into a whole thing that could basically start up a whole argument. I just don't really want to do that, but I'm just making it clear that I do think that Solarballs shouldn't really have done this, because they've kind of flip-flopped in between being educational and not. I'll get back to this later though. If you guys want to do your own research though and come up to your own conclusions, then that's good, go ahead. So with the debate down, what else is bad about this arc? The writing is just... First off, so you know how I said back in part 1 how basically Thea's entire personality was proto? Well, Venus is basically just Thea. Genuinely, the only thing I could say about Venus in this arc is that he acted like a jealous ex-boyfriend, shitting on Proto for basically only being around Thea, and all he did was chase after the girl. I have my own issues with the love triangle trope, but that's more of an opinion. I just personally think that it's corny and frankly ruined Venus's character, but I don't know. They just really villainized him in this arc too. Something that confused me in this arc as well is how when we first see the rocky planets, they are described as fully formed. And since they are introducing themselves, it implies that they were just born. Yet Pluto and Charon are depicted as babies when they first formed, so like, did we miss something? I don't know. I also think the Thea arc had way too many filler episodes. A majority of it was all filler when it came to Proto and Thea, excluding the end in the beginning, which I do like that we got to see other things, but it just fit wrong in my opinion since the arc was mostly meant for them. It kind of just dragged on this arc and gave it extra runtime for the big final compilation. To be honest though, Solarballs has had many filler arcs in general in the modern day, so I'm not all that surprised. Out of all these things, I think the main thing that bugged me was the ending though. Don't get me wrong, the visuals are stunning, and it did feel kinda emotional, maybe, but when you sum it up, it's just, oh, they died by a kiss, which for me personally felt super anticlimactic. Cause like, this is the Thea arc. Something all fans wanted for the longest time ever, and what we basically just got was filler with a Romeo and Juliet story mixed in there, plus everyone's favorite love triangle trope. It just didn't feel right. I don't know. Kind of just felt like they did this really hyped up arc dirty. I honestly kind of wish that we just got something better. And I feel like there's many ways this arc could have been worse, but I don't know. It was a mid, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really enjoy this arc, frankly. This section may be a bit more opinion-based than others, and if any of you guys enjoyed this arc, then that's fine. A lot of people I know personally also didn't enjoy this arc, but I don't know who's to say. Solarballs never seems to get criticized enough for me to know how much people dislike this arc. I honestly could go on and on, but I tried to summarize all the reasons why I hated this arc so much, so I didn't ramble too much. Solarballs started off as an educational show. All the beginning episodes were about space facts or hypothetical scenarios and stuff like that, but it remained educational for the most part until Mission to Titan and all that good jolly fun stuff. But the show never really properly let go of the educational formula, and trust me, I've seen people take the Thea arc genuinely seriously and go with that as a premise for their beliefs on real-life space, and that really rubs me the wrong way. Not to mention that most of SB's audience is kids and preteens who probably don't know a rat's ass about space, outside of what is said in the show. Which I will admit myself, I got interested in space because of Solarballs, and it did teach me things. But since Solarballs hasn't really been too into education, but also drops facts mid-episodes, it's hard to tell what Solarballs is really doing anymore. Like, a lot of people say it has completely dropped it, but look at the Rogue Planets arc. In part 1 of the arc, they dropped facts about Voyager 1, so like, yeah. And this is a really recent arc too. What I would suggest to Solarballs personally is to put disclaimers in the beginning of their videos about how not everything shown is 100% real life accurate, since there are a lot of errors when comparing the show to real life. And no, I'm not talking about them being sentient. This way people won't have to look through random social media posts or just not know at all. This is a fairly simple thing, and I think this is something most shows that handle modified versions of real stuff should do so nobody gets confused. This is more of a pet peeve than a genuine problem with SB, but this is also a rant video, and I'm entitled to my own opinions. I'm in America, guys. Why did SB get rid of Space Poker for Solar Cards? Space Poker was a recognizable game in SB, but all of a sudden, oh my gosh, Solarballs got a card game, wow. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate the actual real game. I literally was a Kickstarter for this thing. That's not my issue, but it makes literally no sense that a merch item just becomes this commonly known thing in the universe. Also, I'm sorry, but when Earth was explaining solar cards to AD in the Solar System's True Scale Part 3, and Earth said,
"No clue. Luna thinks it came from the Big Bang itself."
Like, bro, of course Luna said that! In all seriousness though, they didn't need to remove Space Poker just to advertise solar cards. Not to mention solar cards will be getting a new series of cards in the future, so just imagine what they'll do there. I also personally just think it's weird to be playing a game where you and your friends are literal characters in the game. Like, I don't know, please tell me I'm not the only one who finds that weird. I don't entirely hate the little mini-sodes we got to promote solar cards, but they did not have to do all that, bro. As I said earlier, this is more of an opinion than a criticism, and it's fine if anyone personally disagrees with me, but I still wanted to add this here. Okay, so I'm gonna be completely honest with you all. I don't fully hate Solarballs. Okay, let me explain. I don't hate Solarballs, but I definitely don't like it. I still watch SB mainly because I've been watching for over a year, so I'm too invested in the story to drop it even if I don't really like it all that much. The fandom also has some interesting parts, but there are so many awesome creators in the fandom that make great content. I don't want you guys to think that I'm holding back anything because of this though, because I stopped being a genuine fan of this show a long time ago. Nowadays, I get hyped every Saturday for the new episode, but like 20 minutes after I've already moved on, and the whole thing repeats. If you still like Solarballs even after this video, then that's okay. If you've changed your mind about it after watching this video, that's also okay. I will always personally miss when Solarballs was simple and didn't really have any lore or arcs. And I think it's safe to say almost everyone in the fandom can agree that the old episodes had a charm to them, whether you like present-day SB more than the past. I did make content on Solarballs a little while back, and some of my videos on SB have decent amount of views for my subscriber size. But I do want to clarify to any subscribers I have left over from that era that this will most likely be the last video I ever make on Solarballs. And I can't guarantee I will make any other videos like this, because there aren't many other topics I feel so strongly about like this one. I will also probably never make a follow-up to this video unless Solarballs gets cancelled or something, I don't know. Just don't bet on any of these things happening, since there's a 98% chance I won't do any of these things. If Solarballs somehow finds this video, I'm sorry if I came off as rude at all because I have a feeling I probably did, but genuinely, I just want to see the show improve. I don't really want to start drama. I'm not, as I said before, I don't entirely hate Solarballs. I'm just kind of here making a criticism video because I have a lot of strong opinions on this show. And when you kind of like just keep those opinions to yourself and your friends for too long, it kind of makes you really mad, man. I don't know. But anyway, with that said, thank you for watching. I'm sorry if I rambled too much or didn't have things well. And again, I'm sorry I have a cold. I sound really stupid probably. I'm also just not used to this type of content whatsoever. But with that said, have a great day or night.